guys. So this week we've been studying through Mark chapter 1, verses 9 through 20. And today I want to look at the last half of that, verses 14 through 20. This is the beginning of Jesus' ministry. This is after John's been arrested and Jesus goes out and begins preaching and calling disciples. And I want to point out a couple things related to discipleship here. First, in all of this that Jesus does in verses 14 through 20, this mirrors what he tells his disciples to do after the resurrection in Matthew chapter 28. This is how we make disciples. He proclaims the gospel and he teaches other people to follow Jesus. This is what we should be doing as Christians. We should be sharing the gospel with those who are unbelievers, who don't know the gospel or have not accepted it. And we should be teaching those who are believers to become more mature followers of Jesus and teaching people how to live the Christian life. And notice the response of the disciples. It says in verse 17 that he called them to follow him. And then verse 18, it says that the first two guys left their nets and they followed him. And in verse 19, he calls two more guys, James and John. And verse 20 says that they left their father, they left their boat and the hired men, and they went with Jesus. These men left their families. They left successful careers. They were fishermen, which was a good job in this time. And notice in verse 20 that the family of Zebedee, they even had hired men that worked for them. They also left their wives. Later in chapter 1 of Mark, it points out that Peter was married. So in the years that they followed Jesus all around Galilee and into Judea, during that whole time, they were leaving behind family. They were leaving behind their careers to follow him. This is the right response to the call of God on our life. If we are not willing to let go of something in order to follow Jesus, then it's because that we don't see that Jesus is more valuable than that thing we're not willing to let go. It's because we think that that thing is worthy of our worship and worthy of our time rather than Christ. But the truth is, there's nothing more valuable, nothing more fulfilling, nothing more worthy of our time and our sacrifice than following Jesus. So my questions to you today, from Mark chapter 1, verses 14 through 20, is number one, are you a disciple? Are you sacrificing everything to follow Jesus because you realize that Jesus is greater than everything else that you're leaving behind? And two, are you making disciples? Are you sharing the gospel with unbelievers? Are you teaching believers how to follow Jesus, what it means to be a Christian, how to live a Christian life? We are all called to be disciples, and we're all called to be disciple makers.